Meeting will come to order. Committee today is to consider the nominations of Ms. Lisa Hirschman to be the Chief Management Officer of the Department of Defense, Mr. Dana Deasy to be DoD Chief Information Officer, and Mr. Robert Sander to be General Counsel of the Navy. Thank you for being here today. Ms. Hirschman, I know that you've been performing the duties of CMO for almost a year, and Mr. Deasy, you were the first appointed to this position of CIO in May of 2018. So we seem to have a lot of people who are already pretty much on the job here, although the law made it clear that the current incumbent, you in this case, Mr. Deasy, could continue to serve without confirmation, but the President thought you need to be confirmed anyway, and I think we all agree, and I know you do. So we look forward to that. All that to say, Ms. Hirschman, and you and Mr. Deasy have extensive experience in the specific positions for which you have been nominated. Mr. Sander, you've been served as the Army's Principal Deputy General Counsel since July of last year, and I'm grateful that you are willing to bring your expertise as a lawyer and counselor and advisor to bear as a Chief Legal Officer of the Navy. We have our standard required questions to ask and answers, and I'm going to ask 8 questions, and if you'd be, all 3 of you would be audible in your answers so we can get you on record. I appreciate it. First of all, have you adhered to the applicable laws and regulations governing conflict of interest?
Yes.
Yes.
Will you ensure that your staff complies with deadlines established for requested communications, including questions for the record in hearings?
Yes.
I just heard 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good, very good. Will you cooperate in providing witnesses and briefers in response to the congressional request?
Yes.
Will those witnesses be protected from reprisal for their testimony and briefings?
Yes.
Do you agree, if confirmed, to appear and testify upon request before this committee?
Yes.
Do you agree to provide documents, including copies of electronic forms of communications, in a timely manner when requested by a duly constituted committee, or to consult with the committee regarding the basis for any good faith delay or denial in providing such documents?
Yes.
And have you assumed any duties or undertaken any actions which would appear to presume the outcome of the confirmation process?
No.
We've always said that the world is the most dangerous situation that we've had in our lifetime. The National Defense Strategy makes clear this, the strategic competition with China and Russia, not terrorism, is now the primary national security concern. China and Russia have passed us in key areas and are catching up in other areas. We can no longer take America's military superiority for granted. You know, at one time we were all working on hypersonics, and of course now we see that Beijing just paraded dozens of massive hypersonic missiles, and we haven't even built one ourselves. So we've got a lot of catching up to do. The committee has spent most of its time and effort in the past year ensuring that DoD has the authorities and the resources it needs to implement the 2018 NDS. As senior leaders in the Department of Defense and the Department of Navy, each of you will play a key role in, number 1, building the more lethal force, number 2, strengthening our alliances and building new partners, and in particular, reforming the Department of Defense for greater performance and affordability. You come before this committee at a critical time. We know we have a 2-year budget agreement, and it's going to have to pass the National Defense Authorization Act and the Defense Appropriation Bill to ensure timely funding for the Department of Defense. Now, as soon as we hear from Senator Reed for his opening statement, we'll get to you, Senator Young, for your introduction. Senator Reed.